Morning, everybody. Sunday morning with the Wizard of Wood, and today I want to take a look at a deck. We actually used the Deck Restoration Plus stain on this, and what I want to talk about is not just how to evaluate the deck, but also the stains and sealers that you used previously on a deck. So just a quick turnaround, and I'll get back to it over here. We're gonna look at this deck. Okay, and we're going to evaluate that as we would a deck if it was for ourselves or customer or anybody. And what do? The first thing it starts out with, you want a penetrating product. If you're looking for a transparent, not a solid stain, and we'll go over that as I go over the deck. But when you're looking at a transparent or semi-transparent type of stain, what you're looking for is something that's going to actually go into the wood, penetrate the wood surfaces, and then what happens is, as it wears, it's going to diminish off the top, but there's still stain underneath, and it's pretty uniform overall. But there's going to be different things that we're going to look at, like traffic patterns and the wear and so forth, which is what we're going to show you. So when I talk about this isn't for like a solid stain, but I'll show you what would happen with a semi-solid or solid stain or a film forming stain. So penetrating goes into the wood, and then it wears on the top. You come back, you clean it, and you replenish it, which is what we would probably do here. We will. And then if it's a solid stain, you'll see the traffic patterns here. Those are going to go down to bare wood because it didn't penetrate. It sat on the top. And when those wear, then you go to maintain it or redo it again in the future. Then what happens is it has to all be done. It's extensive. So maintenance is a lot better than reinventing the wheel each time. So that's what we're going to show you here. So let's take a look at the deck. And if you look here, you can see a nice gold color right here. And then you can see wear here, which is actually the main entrance to the house. Not in the front of the house, but the back where everybody goes in. So you see a traffic pattern. You can even see the brown is really worn heavy on the top over here, whereas not so much over here. And if we look at the deck, it looks relatively nice. Do we do it every year? Do we do it every 2 years? Do we want it to look uniform? It's all going to depend on the person, the aesthetics of it. But let's take a look here. So we see a nice gold pattern over here, and we see it kind of a little weathered over here. We come up a little more gold. See a little more weather and wear in here, and this leads up to the door. And you see a stark difference here where nothing's been walked on ever. It's just, well, barely. And you can see how rich the brown is, how rich the gold is, and so forth. So you can see how much it's worn from the traffic patterns. So if we want to match everything up here and the use of the deck, and that's one of the things you want to talk to a customer about is the use of the deck. There are dogs on it. Is there a lot of walking on, a lot of pattern, that kind of stuff. So what do? Well, when we look at this, if this was a solid deck, there would be no stain over here left. And we would have stain over here, and we'd have to strip it all off and then recoat everything to get it right, which is a big job. There'll probably be some sanding involved as well. Now, if you do a penetrating product, whether it's an oil or water base, what happens is you just come over and you clean the whole thing all the way over, okay? So all of this would get cleaned, everything gets cleaned. And what happens is you're still going to have some of the stain left over, but we're going to get rid of what is oxidized and what's sitting on the surface, the dirt, any kind of growth, that kind of stuff is going to come off of that. And then what we're going to come back and do is we're going to recoat this. 2 coats on a horizontal and a single coat on any verticals, because the verticals take twice as long to wear. And if we come over here, well, the sun's coming up there, but I mean, everything's real rich and it only needs 1 coat. If we were to do the floor, it actually matches pretty well here. In 2 years, the floor wouldn't match as well. So the way to do maintenance is, if you're going to do yearly maintenance, then you do the floor every year. You'll put a coat on to get everything even back up, and you'll skip the verticals. If you're doing every 2 years, then what happens is the verticals over here would get done 1 coat every 2 years, and you put 2 coats on the floor. And the best thing to do is, if you can, brush it in. So even if you're going to spray or whatever, brush it in. It's always a good way to make sure that lasts. Sun's really bright. Sunday morning, we're looking forward to this stuff. I'm in southern New Jersey. Been looking for this weather. It's great. It's actually staining weather. Time to get out and do the decks, right? So once again, just going over it, pretty gold here. You're going to match up a traffic pattern in the future. If you have a penetrating product that's easily maintainable, this is an easy job to keep up and maintain with. If this was a solid or semi-transparent, you're going to have a lot more difficult time with that. So anyway, I'm Everett Abrams, the Wizard of Wood. Thank you for watching the video. Take a look at your deck, evaluate yours, see what needs to be done, and then also what type of product you've either put down or are going to put down in the future. Any questions? Ask them in the comments. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel, and thank you for watching.